see the CI that's currently like having problems, that's probably too late because it will be a multi-cycle effort.
I think one thing we have to discuss later will be the testing plan and also some kind of, the freeze plan. I don't really like to merge the switch at the quite late of the cycle just in case. Because if you find any serious problems after merge, then that will mess up the upcoming cycles. So we probably have to have some kind of the scheduling about the merge as well as the testing phase. Then that will probably that is something we need to clear the performance impact concern, I think. So
I think my worry is if we do the, so I'm not saying we should support threads and Eventlet at the same time necessarily, but if we don't do that, this is hard to do, right, in a test it kind of way. We could add new entry points for the new threaded ways, right?
Yeah, that's one of the options I was looking at, is could we do that?
Okay.
So we have Nova-API as an entry point that uses the Eventlet web server to spin it up. We could have Nova API thread, but we don't technically need to do that at the moment. The easier way to do it is we already have a poorly documented debug flag or environment variable that allows us to disable monkey patching globally. We use this for building docs and some other stuff. We could literally just have either a config option or an environment variable that allows you to choose, and then we can change that, say, in Nova Next to use it. We looked at that with Eventlet. So Eventlet has the ability to use an async IO event loop instead of its native one. And that's done through an environment variable as well. So we could take that similar approach. If we were to do that, though, I would really prefer we just do Eventlet on native thread and not try to put in a sync IO. I think once we've got 3 different concurrency models, making it configurable, that's 6 possible combinations. That's too much. So we need to be intentional. Yeah.
If we go this route, then we have to be super careful that any changes we do in the code to support threading still supports the Eventlet way of running the same code, because we won't split the logical code base. That's just impossible to maintain if we have 2 separate Nova API implementation, just to have 2 separate threading model.
Yeah, it means we need to have a voting job that's running in both forms from day one once we start merging that code, basically.
I should also say, I think having one Slurp release that has both is more than adequate, right? In terms of a transition, if we do go that route, as in,
yes, I don't think we should
like
be
having
supporting
to
this
maintain
into
both for a
2027.
long time.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, my biggest fear really about the whole transition is how do we get the code merged? And if it's like, well, we have to get these 79 patches before we can flip the flag over, we'll never push the button.
Moving Nova API, I think, was the 3rd patch or 4th patch in the series. So like, it didn't.
No, I think you've got there. It sounds so. I was more comparing it to the async IO thing really in my head. I think threads is a very pragmatic move, and it will probably burn more CPU and memory, but we'll have to suck it. It might be more efficient, right? It could be totally wrong. We don't know. Eventlet doesn't half do some swapping around for no reason.
I think it all works out to be the same as far as overhead these days. You're not going to see anything.
Yeah, I suppose that's probably will be, won't it?
Only if you have like 1,000 threads, then you'll see that threads are way worse than an async or Eventlet.
Yeah, fair.
All right. I think, Rodolfo, you had some patches from Neutron as well. Do you want to share those and, what is the progress that's happening in the Neutron team, perhaps?
Well, so far we have been migrating the Neutron API to Wheezy, which was something that was done by the other teams in previous releases. We had a problem with ML2 OVN that is solved, and well, I think I sent a mail. I will find the mail thread I sent some weeks ago just to document that, and I will add this to this Etherpad. And then, of course, we have been removing some bits, some code bits in our repository. But of course, we are still far away from removing Eventlet because, as is documented, let me share with you, because we have. Let me see. Okay, where is the document we use? Yeah, here it is. So we use this document just to identify. Is just identifying the problems we have in Neutron, nothing else. We discussed it yesterday, but of course, after this meeting, I think we have a new issue, which is something I didn't consider. That is the possible migration or the possible deprecation of the Whiskey server. So it's just a question. Is something that I should be worried about? Yeah, I saw you. So yes, could be a problem. Okay.
So it kind of depends on how it's been used, right? So like Nova has the console script for running Nova API. We are planning to just drop that and say the only way to run Nova API is going to be using the WSGI script. Same for the metadata service. We're just going to support the WSGI endpoint. Your problem is slightly different in that you need it for the metadata proxy in Neutron, right? You need to have something to act as a web server that's able to handle the requests from in the data plane.
Yeah, no, but this is something different.
Okay.
Because I'm worried about the current Neutron API implementation. So if we don't need to change that, that's okay. We are using the WSGI server also for the metadata server. But I talked to you a couple of weeks, and this is something that we can refactor using, instead of sockets, we can use TCP ports, or well, we can refactor this implementation somehow, and could be easy to test because it's we have enough CI jobs to test it, but this is not a problem so far.
So Nova isn't heavily using Eventlet for our WSGI application. We do import some base classes from it, but we're using other frameworks. I think Neutron is using Flask as a basis of your routing, etc.
Yes.
Is that correct?
Yes. And I think we don't need to change that so far. Actually, we are using the WSGI, the Oslo service WSGI implementation for the Eventlet server. So this is something that will be removed eventually. Apart from what I have commented, we also had the problem of how the agents are spawned because they are using Oslo service, but this is being handled by the spec RB is presenting, and we'll see, and we will test future proof of concept of Oslo services. And I think that's all I have from Neutron.
Great, thank you. Sean, did I cut you off?
Not really. I was just going to summarize. My understanding of the Neutron API differences from Nova is the main delta between how both work is that Nova had already extracted all of our long-running RPC tasks and periodics out into the conductor service a long time ago, whereas the Neutron server was playing both roles. It was the REST API, plus it was handling all of that long-running RPC traffic. And I think Rodolfo has already worked on moving that out into its own daemon. Is that correct?
Oh, okay. I don't know if. Okay, we already have a daemon. We already have a server for the RPC communication. So we attend all the RPC. Okay, we have two parts. The RPC server, which is a completely isolated module that is spawned when using WSGI module is spawned as another service. You can see that in any CI job, you will have the Neutron API, Neutron API, RPC server, OBM maintenance. So you will have all this. And also we have the RPC sub methods from the API. So every time you make an API call to, for example, update a port, a network, whatever, you will send an update via RPC. But this is different. So we have the publication, the module that depends directly from the API, and we have the RPC server to attend other servers, DHCP, L3, whatever.
Yeah. So the point I was trying to make is, as part of the event removal work, you've already done that separation in the last 12 months to have that standalone binary that runs and handles those RPCs for you that are not run under the web server anymore. Because before that was in a single binary called Neutron Server that did both. It provided the API and ran those.
Yes, exactly. So when using WSGI, everything that is not API is in a different process. As I said, we have three, up to three, which is the RPC server, the periodic service, and the OBM maintenance service, which is specific for OBM.
So that pattern is likely something that other projects may have already done. So like, as I said, Nova moved all of that stuff into the conductor a long time ago, as in like 8+ years ago. But I don't know if all of the other services that took Nova's threading model, older threading model, have done those refactors, like extracting all that stuff out into a conductor or RPC server style thing. But for Nova at least, and now Neutron, the WSGI server is just a WSGI app. It just talks to the database. It can send some RPCs, but it's not doing any long running stuff. It's everything that runs in it should be short-lived functions that return a response or kick off something asynchronous. And that's what,
as far as I know, the Neutron was the last one, the mixing up the API and the RPC stuff within the single process. So once we get the Neutron did have the splitted RPC server in the past, but it was really not functioning with ML2 OVN for a long time. But it was fixed recently, so I think we are almost ready. I think the remaining new problem is the Ironic, which would like to support the the all-in-one service deployment for use case outside OpenStack. So, but I think the current discussion is going on to even split it up to the two services to use the conventional API and conductor deployment architecture. So I think we are all fine now. Just for minor records, so he does have similar single standalone model, but I'm trying to duplicate it during this cycle so that we can get rid of it. Because it was added for triple, which was already retired, there will be no reason to keep it forever. So that'll be the another, the final blocker, but I don't think it is no longer it is a blocker anymore. So I think we can be all fine.
Yeah, the other service that was on my radar before was Glance, but as far as I'm aware, as of Antelope, Glance can now properly run with all of its background stuff in UWSGI as well. So there were issues with background task processing.
Yeah, it is actually deployed in UWSGI and Debistock for a few cycles, and I personally recently switched the deployment pattern we have in Puppet OpenStack to run Glance with mod WSGI, but I haven't seen any problems so far. So I think it's now ready to onboard on the whole WSGI world, I think.
So The Nova session started about 15 minutes ago. I'm wondering if we've more agenda topics for this, or if anyone wants to bring up anything else. If not, or if there's no other input people want from the Nova folks, I'm probably going to swap over. So.
Yeah, that sounds fine. I think, I mean, this was just meant to be bring your questions and have a brainstorm kind of a discussion. So that I don't think that we had any other topics here. Hervé, did you think?
No, it was an open discussion and QA session, so that's more up to you if you
Yeah.
want to roast things.
Yeah,
We
totally.
don't have.
So let me ask one quick question. So I heard that there is already a kind of the official pop-up team about the Eventlet removal. So do we have any kind of a regular meeting about it?
Yeah, so we should set one up. So I just merged that patch yesterday, which means I'll probably create some meeting slots on the wiki and stuff. So how does a bi-weekly IRC meeting sound to everybody?
Okay, so we can
Yeah.
continue the discussion there.
Yeah,
Maybe
exactly.
on more on an Oslo point of view, Daniel proposed to revive the Oslo meeting. So I think we will also have some discussion, but more focused on Oslo things. Yeah.
Awesome. I can send something out.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, so yeah, I propose to do the ERC meeting again every Monday. I will send a mail about that.
Thank you. Harvey, was there anything on the wiki where you wanted folks from all the projects to look at?
Sorry.
We had some tasks about the projects performing an audit and probably publishing stuff that like Sean here or Rodolfo did. Make a list of all of the Eventlet usages in these projects.
Yeah.
Was that on the wiki?
Yeah, I put some of them in the wiki into the project
Migration
specific event.
Oh, okay.
But the neutron is not there. I can add it and centralize all the things over. It's a good idea.
Cool. That would be the agenda for that first meeting, I think. So.
Good question. I think we can start it around in 2 weeks, maybe.
Yeah, sounds good. That works.
I mean, next week we meet the network DFG, and I also meet the PM, downstream PM. So it could be better to wait a bit and schedule that 2 weeks or 3 weeks ago. No, as you prefer.
Yeah, no, that's a bunch of red hatters talking, I guess. But this is the upstream discussion, so I think, I mean, waiting 2 weeks makes sense also because people would be recovering from the PTG and actually probably getting back to groove. So
let's see in 2 weeks.
Yes,
Ben.
that works. All right. Was there any other concern to bring up today while we are all in this room? Going once, going twice. I think we can wrap it up here and step out and do the other stuff that's going on in the PTG. So we'll recap this, and I'll post the recordings on the openstack-tc channel. This is part of the goal discussions around. So I'll share the recording links onto the mailing list. But you can always, step into the OpenStack Eventlet removal channel. There is an IRC channel dedicated for this. But of course, you can have that discussion in the team-specific channels as well. But you'll find a bunch of folks working cross-project on that OpenStack Eventlet removal OFTC channel. So hope to see you there. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
Right.
Thank you.
You should add that IRC to the Etherpad.
Yes, will do.
Thanks.